Hello everyone, I'm so glad that you're here to watch our video today. I'd like to introduce you to Judy Van Ryan. Judy has a very unique story about her experience. First, I'm going to ask her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about the work that she does now. Hello, Judy.
Hello, well, I'm Judy Van Ryan, and as you can tell from my accent, I'm Australian, but I've lived in Canada for 20 years, and I have 4 children who are mostly teenagers. I have 3 boys who are teenagers and an almost teenage girl. And we are living in lockdown, of course, like everybody else, but we're all carrying on with our normal studies and activities, and my activity is my new business, which is called the Best Breast Vest Company, and I make vests for women who've had mastectomies. And this is something I designed when I went through my own breast cancer journey in 2018 and found that there was a real gap in what to wear from the date of surgery to when you could get fitted and comfortably wear a mastectomy bra. Mm-hmm. So I designed a vest that you can just throw on over your shirt, and it has internal pockets that you have a light breast prosthesis, just a foam cup in, and so there's no straps and there's no heavy prosthesis, and it's just a real easy on and off light thing that you can wear to look symmetrical after you've had your mastectomy. So that's my new business that I've started because of my breast cancer journey.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about your work before this big life event. What was that like, and what did you take from your work life before and bring it into today to help you build this business?
Well, by profession, I'm a solicitor, but I'm an Australian solicitor. So when I married and moved to Canada, back then, I couldn't just cross over and work as a lawyer here. I would have had to go back to university to get a Canadian law degree, which was very annoying. And so I didn't do that. I started freelance writing.
Oh, okay.
I got a book out from the library that said how to be a freelance writer, and I did what the book said, and it worked. So first of all, I just started writing articles about Australia. I was lucky. I came over when the Sydney Olympics was on, so people were interested. And then I was very lucky to land some work with Legal Magazine, so Canadian Lawyer Magazine and Law Times. And from then on, for the next almost 20 years, I wrote for legal publications. Mm-hmm. And I did that from home while I had 4 children in 7 years, mm-hmm. and was a full-time mum as well. Mm-hmm. So that was wonderful, and I really enjoyed doing that. I appreciated very much being able to be at home with the children while I did that. But when I got diagnosed with breast cancer, I cut back on the writing while I went through my treatment. And during that period, my publications decided to hire in-house people. So by the time I'd finished my treatment, my job had really disappeared. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that was a problem. Mm-hmm. I had to think of something else to do. But during that process, having my treatment, I had designed the vest and then went on with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I find it interesting, your story about, you would have been able to work through it after a certain time of recovery, because that's what happened with me. I was able to continue with my work as a business owner. And in Ontario, we have an act that requires an employer to have accommodation for someone with temporary disability. I'm talking to a lawyer here, solicitor, so you're probably very aware of those sort of things. And so I ended up doing my own accommodation plan, and mm-hmm. I was still able to serve my clients, although I did cut back on work because my doctor says you have to have some recovery time, right?
Yes.
So it sounds like your experience was a little different in the fact that when you were away from work, the work that you were doing was actually beginning to disappear and being taken in-house, right?
Yes, and that may have happened anyway,
Yes.
but the fact that I felt the need to cut my workload back,
Yes.
because I also had 4 children and all of that it entailed. So I was just trying to be a bit kind to myself and not force myself to work. A lot of my girlfriends who've had breast cancer, they worked all the way through it. They never missed a day of work, and I just am so amazed that they were able to do that. But I just decided that I would not put myself under too much pressure, but was looking forward to ramping it back up afterwards, not realising that I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to have something to look forward to. And when you're more or less freelance or self-employed, you still have to make that happen for yourself, right? So
yes, and I also wanted to show the children that Mum was back to normal.
Okay.
So that was another reason why I then launched myself into setting up this business, so that they could see that Mum was kicking on, and living normally again, and keen to be working and setting them an example of a work ethic.
And were you surprised at how your business became very successful, filling a gap, right?
Yes. Well, when I first designed the vest, because I'm a sewer, I just thought it up and thought,
as well.
Yes, and I thought, I bet everybody does this. But I then wore my vest into the hospital for my radiation treatments, and the hospital staff were the ones that went, "Whoa, we've never seen this before. This is amazing, and you should do something about this." So when I finished my treatment, I took it around to the lingerie stores that sell mastectomy wear, and I showed it to them, and they'd never seen anything like it either, and they all said, "Oh, you should do something." So my friend Rose, who's my partner, she was job hunting at the time. So I asked Rose if she would like to try and set the business up for me. And I don't think we had any idea how much work was actually involved in that, because I had no business experience, and she had none either. But we went off to the courses at the small business centres in town and the RISE program. And so we learned how to do a business plan and all those things. So we started going through the steps. But it took us a good 18 months before we actually got our online website up and running. And that really surprised me, that there was just so much work involved, because we had to go through, a proper design phase, and then we had to go through a testing phase, which took quite a long time. And then coming to grips with all the technology and the social media and the online store, and that was hugely challenging for me, because I'm not technological. But the one advantage we did have is that we were both writers, because Rose has a degree in technical writing, and of course I've been freelance writing for years. And so much of this online work is coming up with the content. So that was the skill that we had from our previous work that we were able to bring into the new business.
There you
go. It's been such a help. We don't have any trouble coming up with blogs and descriptions and things like that, and all the Instagramming and Facebooking and all that stuff that you have to do, really, to have a successful online store these days. So we're able to do that and enjoy doing it.
Well, I want to go back to the design of your vest for those who are interested, because some of the questions that I get from other women is about how to make the treatment not more pleasant, but easier, right? And so I know when I went in for radiation treatment, the people there said, like, how are you? And I said, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. Like, I sort of got a little indignant about it. And they said, that's interesting, because most people after their first, radiation treatment, they realize that, it's routine, so you get used to it. And I said, no, I'm not going to get used to it. It's like a spoiled child, right? But I think that's, that's the anger coming out, the grieving of what's going on, right? But interestingly, I had another friend shortly after that was diagnosed. And so she asked me, like, how's radiation? And I said, well, I figured out a few things for myself to make it less stressful. First of all, I booked it very early in the morning, because the doctor was said, come in early in the morning before the machines break down. Because sometimes they do, right? And she said, so come early in the morning, and then you can get off and do your business during the day. So that helped me a lot. Okay, so I would go in early. But the other thing was how to dress. How to dress so that it's easy, so that you're not more or less, going in with the usual clothes, having to undress, take everything off, put everything back on again. That just sort of adds to the stress. You're more aware something's going on. So I found those little tube sleeping bras, I think you call them, that were very easy to just sort of pull down rather than take off.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
After surgery as well, it's not that comfortable, putting together a bra. So.
Well, I got rid of the bras altogether.
Yeah.
And I don't mind showing, if you don't mind me showing the insides of my vest so people can see.
Yeah.
So we went for the zipper so that it's easy on and off, and especially when your fingertips get a bit numb from the chemo.
Yes.
And then we have these pockets in here, see? And we take these little foam cups. They're just like the ones you have in a sports bra. And you just Velcro them in. And so that's just so simple, especially when your shoulders are frozen. You don't have to put anything over your head.
Yeah.
And you just throw it on over the top of anything.
And you know what? I would never have thought about the zipper being easy because of the loss of feeling sometimes that you get, right?
Yes. Well, we thought about whether to have buttons or studs or anything, and that's just too fiddly. We've gone for the zipper with the biggest tag possible.
So that's part of the design process and testing how...
Yes, but the biggest challenge of the testing was that women are such... and to try and come up with something that you can buy online without, a custom fitting. So we had to modify the design. We put splits in the side for the pear-shaped ladles. We narrowed the top of the vest here. And so that was quite a process to come up with something that you can order online. We do customise it because we have to ask whether it's one side or two and what cut size you want. But we can, from that information, we can then put the vest together with the cups in the right place and the right size and send it off so that it's ready just to put on. So that's why that very long design and testing phase ended up being so helpful, because now we've got something that's easy for us to put together and then send off, but it is actually customised to the person's needs.
Very good, very good. Actually, your big why, how does your business translate and actually satisfy your big why? Are you able to articulate that now?
Well, it allows me to work from home, which is even more important now that I can't leave home anyway. But right from the start, Rose and I were excited because it's something that helps people and makes their life easier, not just in the physical form of putting it on and off, but gives them confidence and improves their self-image. And you're dealing with so many other things with the loss of your hair and everything. It's nice to go out and look symmetrical and not be worried about it. So we really wanted to be helping people, and that's the joy we've got out of doing it, that our testers. We had 20 testers all over Canada, and they were just so enthusiastic about it and just loved it so much and said how much it helped them in their daily lives. So that's just gives us a boost every time we interact with a customer who says, oh, thank heavens, that you've made this available.
Oh, that's so good.
So it's making our lives much better because we're doing something that's helping them.
Mm-hmm. It eases the inconveniences of what most people wouldn't understand that you come across during treatment. And also, they always say, if you look better, you feel better. And that's an important point as well. Yeah. So what wisdom would you share with other women who are perhaps considering what's next for them after cancer, breast cancer?
Oh, it's such an individual thing, isn't it? But I think giving yourself the time to figure out what you want to be doing with your time, once you realise how precious it is, and you really do get a sort of second chance, don't you? When everything looks so dark and you don't know how you're going to come out at the end of it or whether you're going to come out at the end of it. When you start your new phase and your health comes back, it's really good to be doing something that you enjoy, and also it's so good to remain part of the breast cancer community. I originally had this feeling like, I never want to hear anything about it again, and I still find it quite hard to go on to the websites where people are saying, I'm just being diagnosed and I'm so scared. And that's very hard to dive back into afterwards. But it is still a wonderful community that you can be a mentor, graduate from being the patient, being the mentor, and find a way to help others through the journey.
Yeah. When doubt creeps in, or when it did creep in for you, how did you inspire yourself?
Well, I had 4 children, so my whole attitude through the whole journey was that I had to put the best face on it for them. So there really wasn't a way to let doubt overcome you. You've got to be playing the whole thing down the whole time. Mum's good, mum's fine.
Yeah.
And but that's very helpful. Have that attitude and that motivation to really power through it and put on the best face possible. I think that helped me a lot, that I was doing it for them as well as myself.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. What would you tell your younger self? Do you have a favorite photograph of yourself when you were a little girl?
Oh, when I'm a little girl, well, any of the ones with my sister playing dress up, because my mum was a sewer too, and she used to make wonderful costumes for us. So, I don't know. Be creative, I think, and don't assume that everyone else already can do what you're doing, because maybe you'll come up with an idea that no one else has thought of.
That's a good point, because you didn't really know whether the gap you were filling was something that maybe someone had already thought of. They already had a product for it, because there are already stores that provide some kind of clothing.
That's right. And no one was more surprised than me when I got the reaction at the hospital of, what's this thing you've done? It's completely new. And, we've got a patent application. We had to search through to see if anyone anywhere else in the world had come up with this before, and it seems that nobody had. It's such a simple thing.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was really exciting to find that this was a completely new product that filled that gap. And, afterwards, if you just want to be comfy at home, it's not just for the treatment. We've had testers who had their mastectomies, 50 years ago, and still saying, I wish I'd had this all along.
Oh, really? Really? Wow. Yeah. What advice would you give your younger self about your journey?
Well, I suppose it's something to do with endurance, isn't it? And the light at the end of the tunnel.
Keep on going.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, like you were saying before, if you have an idea, go with it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's been thought of before. It's an original thought, right? It's an original idea, which is
yes,
good.
It can happen.
It can. Yeah, very good. So what's next for you?
Well, it's not long since we actually launched the business online, so our next phase is to educate people that this product is now out there. That's a bit difficult because we can't go into the hospitals, and the hospitals are also preoccupied with other things going on. Of course, it's not a great time, but we're working hard on just getting the word out that this option now exists, and coming to grips with all the social media, coming up with all the content for that. So that's really our project going forward, that we just want to get the word out that we've got this amazing product and we want to share it with everyone.
Well, that's a good segue, because I want to let the audience know that we are going to be sharing all the information to contact you, your social media links, your website, all in the description below. And we would ask people if they know someone who is in this situation. And you mentioned it could be years after a mastectomy. It doesn't necessarily have to be right now. But,
yes, it's really got the two phases. The treatment phase, where you can wear it right from the day you have surgery because it's not pressing on anything, or it just looks like a normal part of your wardrobe. Yeah. So you can just whatever after as well. It's not a short-term product. It's something you keep forever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, congratulations. I think that, again, a great idea, and I'm glad that you went forward with it. I understand that getting the word out is not that easy.
No.
It could be a break at some point, and I hope that this video is going to be helpful in making that break. Is there anything else that you would like to express before we leave the video and say goodbye to our audience?
No, I think that's fine. It's been nice talking to you, and I look forward to interacting with you all out in the webosphere.
There you go. Okay. Thank you very much, Judy. You have a great day. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Patricia.